Welcome into the Stanford Cardinal Dynasty, where yet again we face who has become a rival in the Georgia Bulldogs. They got a close win on us last year to start the season and then finished our season with a questionable playoff win. Now is our chance to get a little bit of revenge at home. And that's coming off a pretty good start for our offense, putting up 56 points against James Madison and a 24-16 win against Michigan State. It has, however, not been such a good start for Georgia, who in the first 3 weeks of the season only play one game. They'll have 2 more games, including today, and then their final bye until the end of the regular season. In their opener, they gave up 45 points to Clemson, only getting 28 themselves. However, this is an offense we'll be pretty familiar with. Hawkinson still at quarterback. He had 3 touchdowns and 3 interceptions in his opening game, 62% complete. And he definitely tried to get the running game going yet again, 14 carries for him, more than their actual running back. However, he was contained by the Clemson defense. They did get the ball out in the passing game. Matthew Whipple and George Gunn shine, both with a touchdown. You could add new starting tight end Ben Marks to that group as well. But defensively, they were not able to slow down Clemson's offense. They only managed 4 plays in the backfield, including 1 sack from Johnny Morris. He was the one that kept jumping off sides in the previous matchup, and the refs did not call it. But if we use Clemson as a guide for us, the key to success against this Georgia team is passing the ball. Trent Burns, the redshirt freshman, making his first start, threw 6 touchdowns, 286 yards. They tried to run the ball, didn't find much success with that. Passing the ball was the big one. Pendleton went over 100 yards, but the key note, he had a long of 77. Jones had a long of 75, and Sty had a long of 29. You could hit big plays on this Georgia defense. Against their offense, we need the front 7 to come through. The pass rush. Matthew Proctor in that opening game gave up 2 sacks. He'll be matched up with Rashad Lord. They also had their center in Saavedra give up a sack, and we need a little bit more pressure down the middle. And with a game plan set, it's time to hit the field and try to claim our first win over Georgia for Coach Barrington. It will be the defense out first, as Mays with the boot has us underway. Atwell will take the touchback. It will be the 25 for the Bulldogs to come on out. Matthew Whipple, the big producer in their last game. We saw him make a few plays against us in our matchups, but mostly it's been Hawkinson. That is the guy we got to slow down today, as they start with a screen off the back of an O-lineman's helmet. Hawkinson just had to get rid of it as the pressure was coming through. 2nd and 10. They try to set it up the other way. Pressure does get there, but it's out cleanly. And Bofelli's got the first down, about a gain of 13-14. He handled the pressure extremely well in the playoffs, so we're trying to bring it right back to him. Pass just off the mark there. Good coverage in the second level to help ensure that ball hit the ground. It's 2nd and 10. They get motion right-hand side, making a 2-receiver stack. They go back to the screen. It's back to Bofelli, and he's going to find again about a gain of 15, make that 20 as he slips under a couple tackles. So far, that seems to be their only game plan today, is just get the screen out to the running back. Has got them into plus side. Get motion all the way across the line here as they go with the read option. Going to take it down the middle. A flag comes in as Hawkinson takes a big hit from Schlegel. It's going to be all for naught, as they're going to get the starting left guard with a hold. So make it 1st and 14. It was 6 yards downfield. More motion. Bofelli back into the backfield as they go with a play action. And Simpson jars the ball free. Jostling for it down on the ground. Not sure, but it looks like Rashad Lord picks it up. Stanford Cardinal forced the turnover. Early on here, a big showing for the defense to make that play, and it's the returning Heisman from last season. Slow start to the season, he's on a rise. Cardinal offense starting plus side as they start down the middle to Thompson, picking up a gain of 12. Clemson did not have as much success running the ball against Georgia. We'll see if that remains the case today. As they look to pass the ball right down the seam, they find George Ball sprinting inside the 10. He's finally taken down at the 7. A hot start here for the Cardinal, trying to capitalize as they get the hard count, and just as we saw in the postseason, they don't flag him, they get the extra rush, and it's going to be a sack. Even after all that complaining from Coach Barrington, at home he doesn't even get that call. Looks like they're making some changes out there. It's a tight shotgun look here. Draft. He throws across the middle. That's going to maybe get back to the line. Georgia came firing through as they're trying to have a goal line stand here. 3rd and goal just on the outside of the 10. Hard count this time, no one flinches. They back everyone up into coverage, and with nowhere to go, he will eat a sack. It's Sione East on back-to-back plays. And ultimately, the Cardinal will have to settle on the field goal, but a free 3 points is better than nothing, coming off that turnover courteous of Cassius Sampson. But important to note as we move this game along, they like to bring the heat down by the goal line, make some adjustments down there, find our way into the end zone next time, as the stretch goes for a gain of 3. That run by Muhammad Dykes had a really big impact in that postseason game as well. The Fiesta Bowl, Bofelli takes it down the middle for 5. We'll bring up a 3rd and 2. They go 2 spread either side, bring the blitz, and it's going to be a quick throw on the drag. Salmon left in the press coverage, gives up the inside. 1st and 10, early movement, no flag comes in. As they go back to Dykes, shows off a little bit of power, another gain of 3. They will go empty to follow with a 2nd and 7. Looking to pass this ball, get the drag across. He gets some blocks to the outside. A nice slit back under will pick up an extra 1 or 2. Goldwire, the sophomore receiver, takes them down inside the 35. The 2 spread to the left, 1 to the right-hand side. They go back to Dykes. Open space down the middle. Schlegel will have to clean him up. But it's after yet another 1st down for Georgia, marching closer and closer to the red zone. They're about 2 yards out. As play action, Cassius Sampson all over it, nearly bit on the play fake, but he drops Hawkinson, a loss of 7. 2 go to the left, 1 to the right. As it's play action for Georgia, pass across the middle and squeezing it in. Strong hands from Goldwire, converts the 1st down for the Bulldogs. They're down to the 12. As they continue looking to pass the ball here, they got a receiver breaking open to the outside. Salmon in pursuit, chopping him out. That was their tight end, getting him down to the 5-yard line with 2nd and 3. They look to hand the ball off, and Bofelli can walk on in. Georgia, they take the lead here in Palo Alto. A fumble on their 1st drive, a touchdown on their 2nd. Again, we see Georgia just find the steady plays all the way down the field. That was where the Cardinals struggled in the playoff game. Offense will have to respond. Their 1st full possession. Weren't able to get the ball in the end zone the last time off the fumble. He started this one with a handoff down the middle for Thompson. He picks up 6. Sulai checks in the following play. As Draft will just end up scrambling here. He had a receiver breaking open down the sideline. Didn't end up seeing it till it was all too late. We'll take this one to the break, where it is currently Georgia on top here, 7-3. They've had 2 full possessions. Cardinal finally really with their 1st. Oh, Coach Barrington won't complain about the short drive to start off with that fumble forced by Cassius Sampson. It's 1st and 10 at the 40. Georgia covering deep. It's a throw underneath for Blousay. He's had a huge season to start for the Stanford Cardinal. Over 100 yards in each of the games. 2nd and 6, just his shortest game probably of the year. As it looks to be a rollout pass here, getting the ball out and finding Gomez, who might have tripped on the grass out there. Leaves it 1st and 10 of the 44. Won't complain about a 1st down with pressure bearing down. Look to pass the ball to the outside. They find a Nenny, and these tight ends can't keep their feet. He had more than enough space down the sideline. Leaves it a gain of 2. As they look to go read option, a big block comes in there from Ahala. Gordon Draft's got the 1st down. If he didn't get that block, we might still be sitting back with a 3rd, but 1st and 10 then instead. As it's going to be a dump off here for Larry Sulai, who lowers the shoulder. He didn't get to see the field much last week and making a name for it here early on. With a nice catch, they go to him on the ground. Getting to the outside, and will be a short gain. Great contain from the linebacker, flowing with him, makes it 2nd and 7. Back in towards the red zone. This is where they started to send the blitzes. And they find Blousay down to the 3. 3 touchdowns total for him on the season. I'm sure he would like to find a few more. But they bring out Aneni, the fullback. And now they're going with a triple option. They flip it out to Thompson, and he will take the lead back for the Stanford Cardinal. Triple option touchdown flip by means of Gordon Draft and Thompson with his 2nd touchdown on the season. And overall, a much better red zone appearance for the Cardinal. They stay 100% on the day. Back over to Georgia's offense, where our defense needs to step up, start to make some plays. And how about Cassius Sampson as well as Blair? They tag team for the sack. It's great to see Cassius Sampson back in his groove. First game he was held blanked on the score sheet. Now he's finally making his plays, though opens up for Dykes the play right after, refusing to go down. If it wasn't for the fact he got turned around, he might have still been running. Forces a 3rd and 4, a tight single back set. They bring the blitz, throwing the ball off the mark for George Gunn. That will be a punt forced by the Cardinal defense. With a 3-point lead, Cardinal take over at the 37, a chance to extend their lead. They start with Thompson behind some big blocks, though he takes a punishing hit. We'll let him catch his breath, sending him to the sideline. Larry Sulai in as they go his way on a halfback little motion screen, picking up the 1st down. Coach Barrington was very excited about Sulai joining this offense as he provided a little bit more spreadability for the unit, and obviously the whole offense has shifted towards that. But they've still found a way to be very efficient in the running game, as it will be running here for Gordon Draft, sliding down. He's inside the 30. Trying to stay clean as well. Clean and healthy, a big part of this offense as it is focused in on the quarterback. Inside the 2-minute break here. Hard count and a hollow takes 2-3 good steps early. That will back the Cardinal up to the 34. Make it 1st and 15. Still at the 2-minute mark. And Draft, he's going to roll to the right-hand side. Look to run this himself, giving himself up with the 1st down gain. Cardinal right back inside the red zone. At the 18, 1st and 10, 2 deep safeties. 2 receivers out to the left-hand side as they throw to the back of the end zone, and they find Moses. His first catch of the game will extend the lead for the Stanford Cardinal. And a great throw from Gordon Draft, a good press beater on the outside by Moses. Makes this one 17-7. And for Georgia, that puts them down here about a minute and a half before halftime. Can they make some big plays? Well, finding Gunn wide open this time. 1st down, they called their 1st timeout. Hawkinson has had a couple miscues on some passes, not far off. He needs to find a few good streaks here to get them back into range. Blair with pressure. Cassius Sampson will contain. They will mark that as another sack for the Stanford Cardinal. Going hurry up here, trying to conserve some of those timeouts. They do still have 2 more remaining. It's 2nd and 11. As they'll look to air this ball out deep downfield, and he splits the safeties. Jones is back to the end zone and back to a 3-score game. A perfect cover 2 beater for Georgia. Schlegel caught flat-footed, was not able to catch back up. So now 59 seconds, 3 timeouts for Coach Barrington and Gordon Draft. But they look to air the ball out here. Well, having to get rid of it, play 1, no one open. Try to start with some play action. Georgia not tricked on that one, 2nd and 10. As they go back to it, Morris with pressure. Getting to the outside is Draft, who throws a wobbly ball, but it's going to be a 1st down for the Cardinal. Timeout comes in from Coach Barrington. They'll move him up to the 42 with 48 seconds. Now going out to Larry Sulai with a big juke. One-on-one with the corner, trucks through him and picks up the 1st down. That will stop the clock for a moment as they try to get things reset here. Making a couple changes out there. Getting everyone set up. Quick flick to the outside is Blousay, who will get out of bounds. Good 2 plays there for the Cardinal. Takes up little time and gets them right back out here. With a throw downfield, they've got Vallejo. Picks up a decent block as he's trying to get out of bounds, and he will. Terrific effort there from the slot receiver. He knew he had to get out of bounds, save those timeouts here down by the goal line. As it looks like they're making a couple changes out there. Trips to the right-hand side, leaves 1 to the left. And taking the hit is Draft. That's why you got to save those timeouts. does end up centering roughly the ball here, about lined up with the left hash. Sticking with the same look for 2nd and 13. And then going towards the back of the end zone, double coverage, it's tipped away. So 3rd and 13 here for Draft. They're trying to stay 100% from the red zone. Two spread either side, hard count. They're going to get the right end to jump early. We'll move them a little bit closer here for a 3rd and 8. They stick with the same look. Need to get into the end zone here, and it's up for Roland, and he will bring it down. 1v1. The redshirt freshman receiver who broke out onto the scene during the last offseason makes another big play here for the Stanford Cardinal. 2 late touchdowns in the first half, one for each team. Makes this 24-14. And with Georgia running the clock into halftime, we will maintain that 10-point lead at the break. It's been an all-out offensive onslaught for both of these sides. A lot of points coming in the first half. 28 for your Stanford Cardinals. They continue some dominating offensive performances. Their defense at times looks nigh unstoppable. The pass rush showed up pretty good there in the middle half of the first half. But Georgia's answered with a couple big plays on their own part, both offensively and defensively. And it will have to be their defense who continues making big plays as we start the second half. They're down by 10. We're starting back at the 9. It was a hold on the opening kickoff. Thompson takes it down the middle, a short gain. They'll mark it a gain of 2, and then check in Larry Sulai. He's kind of been the primary back today. It's read option. Honestly, Draft has probably had more carries than anyone else. And quickly checking the stat sheet, that is true. 8 for 52. With a 1st and 10 at the 21. Draft will drop back. He's under pressure, trying to find somewhere to go. He'll get back to about the line of scrimmage. They will still mark it as a sack at the 22. It's 2nd and 10. With a spread look here, it's going to be an RPO covered well by number 3 of Georgia. Will be courteous, marking about a gain of 1. Leaving 3rd and 9, though, still technically marked at the 22 for the Cardinal. Hard count, someone jumps early, they don't flag it, but the ball is out for Moses, who had the step, but the defender fought through him, jarring that one free. It will be a punt to start the second half. A big stand there for Georgia, and they needed it. As they are down by 10, their offense hits the field at the 34. First time this half. As they'll look to pass the ball, everyone is blocked up, but getting to the outside is Hawkinson. He will gain about 1 or 2. Still leaves him in the negative on his net total with the sacks taken today, negative 19. But a big play as Lord couldn't contain. Pass to the outside is broken up, Tim Easy. How good of a season he's had to open up. He's got to feel pretty lucky that one was not picked off. 3rd and 8. A chance to get off the field, but open. They find Goldwire as he continues performing very well here for the Bulldogs, their strongest of their receivers today. Gets them well down the field, marked out at the 33. And then they get to the outside with Bofelli inside the red zone, make it inside the 15. This is what Georgia has done every single time we have faced them. They'll get slowed up and then hit a couple big plays. Next thing you know, they're in scoring range. And in fact, they're into the end zone, making this yet again a 3-point game as they find Marks on the deep end. A massive start to the second half here for Georgia, and it all could have been for naught. The Cardinal were able to hit that deep pass to end their last drive. Moses lone again to the left-hand side with press coverage, safety help over the top. Rolling to the outside and throwing. They've got George Ball. Going to be a big play here. Play 1, getting just by the 50. That continues to be the problem for Georgia, giving up big pass plays. They gave up a 77, 75, and a 29-yarder last week. They've given up a lot of big ones here today. Not able to get that one out. Blouse had space. Well, they sent the linebacker on the blitz, and he timed it up pretty well. As Draft is going to step up here. He's got a bunch of green grass to the left-hand side, and coming in to make the stop is the safety. That gives Draft 70 total rushing yards today. He's putting out a great performance, trying to will his team to a victory. Larry Sulai on the run. Chucks off the safety. He picks up 11. Just like that, Cardinal back inside the red zone with a 1st and 10. They hand it off to the fullback / tight end in Aneni, who picks up 4. with second and goal. They bring out a shotgun look here. Gomez in the backfield. In motion is Moses. Fake the jet sweep to him. The quarterback power, as it's an extremely late hit there on Gordon Draft. No flag comes in, but the Cardinal go back up by 10. A continual back and forth. Georgia's got to put together a string of good series to find themselves tied up here or even in front in Palo Alto. But still with plenty of time in this one, just inside the 3-minute mark of the third quarter. Georgia has time as they get motion. Gun from right to left. Actually make that gold wire. As they go Dykes, he's stacked up in the backfield. Redshirt freshman Jason Blair arrived first at DT. Thad Smith helps clean it up. Second and 11 as they go with the delay here. Getting to the outside and with space chopped out by Schlegel. But tight end Baquette picks up the first down, and that was the style of play they started to go with in the second half of the postseason game. Cardinals struggle to slow it down. We'll see if that's what they go back to here. And indeed it is. It's the delayed handoff, but Schlegel comes down to make another stop. In the last game, again, mentioned a lot of that postseason performance. Cardinal did make a change, a little bit more man-heavy to combat the RPO looks. We'll see if they stick to that same method with a 3rd and 7. Goldwire again in motion all the way to the left-hand side. Trying to set up the halfback screen. Couple defenders in the way, and they knock him out. Inches to go. A huge stop from the Cardinal defense as it does force the punt. With 3 seconds remaining in this third quarter, they will hand it off to Thompson down the middle, delivering a crushing hit and then getting crushed himself. We'll send this one to the fourth quarter. Decision time in Palo Alto as it is 31-21. We've seen a lot of good back and forth. Cardinal in charge of this one. If they want to maintain, they've got to maintain. That means far more efficient plays here. At the 26, we start the fourth quarter with a 2nd and 3. As they go with the quick slant, it's dropped. We'll say typically slants far more efficient. Doesn't work out there. It's 3rd and 3. Hard count, no one jumps. Handing this one off, Larry Sulai. He's got the first down. Big play there for the Stanford Cardinal as they could let this clock continue to run. Now up to the 35, bunched to the left-hand side. 2 deep safeties. As the DT sheds the block, Morris picks up the sack. If he doesn't shed that block, Gordon Draft is running for a good gain. Instead, 2nd and 12 with a loss of yardage. Receiver coming across, they hook up on the drag to Moses, who will get about 9-10 yards. That still leaves them one short of the key here, getting a first down. A heavy tight end look here as they get motion from the right-hand side. Defense is changing up their looks. Looks like they flip things. Handing this one off. Thompson fights a little lane to hit, and he picks up the first. Not much, if anything, there extra, but marked to the 45. It's a fresh set here for the Cardinal as they come out still with a spread look. Good coverage down the field, and having to get rid of it is Draft. Not really what they're looking for there. Will stop the clock. 6:07 remaining here as they sit around the midfield line. Georgia sitting back with the 2 deep safeties. Draft going to scramble here. A lot of open space. Another gain of about 15. He needs just 10 more to go over 100 rushing today. At the 39, motion. Faking the jet sweep. They hand it off. Larry Sulai takes on the linebacker and just rolls him over. He's able to maintain his feet. He could have gained even more on that one. Finally blow the whistle, gain of 6. As we're well inside 6 minutes here, inside 5 minutes. They go back to Larry, following the guards and close to the first down marker. Once again, Cardinal have a 3rd and 1, marked just inside the 30. Play clock down to 1. They're going to get some pulling guards, cutting back Thompson, and again challenging these linebackers to make the stop. But again, at least on this drive, Cardinal end up on top. We're well inside 3.5 minutes now. That clock is melting away for Georgia as it's going to be a big loss on the sweep. Official marking, it's a loss of 8 back at the 36. July still the running back as they look to go back to the sweep. A little bit of a option mixed in there, no gain. As the 2-minute break hits here, it is 3rd and 18 for the Stanford Cardinal. Georgia stacking the inside here of the line. And with the RPO possibility, it's covered well. Georgia ends up stuffing it, but the offense stays out here with a 4th and 19. Hard count, and that's not too good for the Cardinal. That'll back them up. Expect a punt now. Looked like Bearington was trying to fake them into jumping early, maybe get 5 yards closer, take a field goal. Instead, we're inside 2 minutes with a beautiful ball from Hawkinson. Just dropped that one right in the bucket. A gain of 6, but they got to go hurry up here. As we're approaching the minute-and-a-half mark, they're down 2 possessions. They chip Sampson, buy some time for a throw to the running back. It gets broken up by the linebacker. 3rd and now 4. Obviously 4 down territory, but instead they hit the pass across the middle. Oh, they might have to focus on getting these plays a little bit quicker, a little bit higher tempo. Some deeper throws would probably help out as well. Or if they just keep finding these across the middle as Gunn splits the defense. Well, how about that? You don't need the deep ball when you can find a more efficient throw and take it on the ground. George Gunn, I believe his 2nd touchdown of the game, gives a little bit of life here to Georgia. Just about a minute left in this game. We will come down to the hands team here. Georgia with 2 timeouts. As it gets to the 2nd level, it's picked up. George ball. There will be no return. And a 1st down for the Cardinal will officially seal this game. Georgia stacking the right side of the offense. They look to run power to the left-hand side. Thompson gets stacked up. 2nd timeout is called. They'll have just 1 more remaining. With 1:07 on the clock, it's 2nd and 10. And keeping this one, Draft will get dropped. He tried to get to the outside. Good contain. On 3rd and 14, they put Thompson at quarterback. Moses going to come in motion. They'll get the snap off just in time. Finding a cutback lane. Thompson rolling, coming up inches shy. And now contemplation for Coach Barrington. He calls a timeout. And the offense will head on out to win this game. They've got to convert. Play clock heading down to 1. They snap the ball, and Thompson picks up the 1st down. It will be a win for the Stanford Cardinal. Turns out 3rd time is the charm. 31-28. Deciding to go for it there on 4th down to not give their offense an opportunity. The roll ends up paying off. Gordon Draft, he had a fantastic game out there. Over 200 yards passing, over close to 100 yards rushing. Georgia did well to always keep this game interesting, but ever since we regained the lead early on, they were not able to find a way to get back on top. And the Stanford Cardinal finally take down the Bulldogs in the 3rd matchup. And rightfully so, with a big impact, at least early on in that game. Cassius Sampson has picked up his 2nd straight Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Week. 3 sacks, 4 tackles, all of which were in the backfield. Though this time, he will tack on the National Defensive Player of the Week as well. And with that 3-0 record, the Cardinal head into their 1st bye of the season right before we start Pac-12 games. Now, that means we could dive a little bit more here into the recruiting, as we have finally started to get some guys scheduled for visits. And with that, we are cracking into a lot of these guys' top 5 spots. So really good news. We're doing pretty well on a lot of these. Some really good races. We're going back and forth here with OU. Good news is we have that week 5 visit coming up, which will be our next game. So we need to spend a few minutes here to tack on as many visits as we can for that week 5. And all of these have been for the offense so far. Now for Jamie Emmanuel, we already have a pretty solid lead on him, not putting in as many points. And for him, we already have a guard and a tackle scheduled, so this could be really good for him. What does he look for? Brand exposure is big for him. So let's get him in then on a podcast interview. Now, the only other player that we have on the offensive side, at least, that would receive an extra boost here would be the quarterback, Nate House. He's one of the top quarterback prospects in his position, number 5, so I think it would be good to get him in. He looks for proximity to home, so we'll go ahead and tack him on here for the San Jose game. He's also interested in championship contender and athletic facilities. Let's instead change this up to championship contender, and we'll have him attend a team meeting. Now, unfortunately, that is the final player we could have scheduled for the week 5. So with our remaining points, we could look to add on some points to some of these other guys. Jonathan Dugan is someone who I think we do need to add points as Miami has jumped into this race here. So we'll switch out his football influencer, which is just the soft pitch for a hard pitch. Eric Carr, one of the guards that we do have visiting next week. We are behind Florida State because our hard pitch, the first one we gave, was wrong. We updated that to the grassroots. We have 2 pretty good grades, not too good for that third one, but we're going to go ahead and take off the 10 here and tack on the 25 just to try to max out the points on him. And the only other player that we are currently behind a team for is Ty Ekiyor, and it's again with OU. So we're going to jump in here. We're going to take off the 10 and the 5. We'll tack on the 25. And that leaves us with 30 more points. We'll sprinkle on a few of these other guys just to try to get some more influence that way. But ultimately, we are looking very good for our recruiting out the gate. We're leading a lot of these, and the few that we're not, it's a good race. And as we're jumping to the next week, Zach Nestrowich decides he's going to go to Oklahoma, so we miss out on one of our top options for the offensive line. And that was a little bit surprising because he wasn't all the way even into his top 3 yet. He didn't have a scheduled visit that week with OU. However, he did have a scheduled visit with Virginia Tech. I guess it was so bad that he decided, no, I'm just going to go to OU. We'll keep him on the board as it stands right now because if for some reason he does decide that he doesn't want to go to OU, we technically are still giving him points in a way, and he might decide to flip his commitment. So we'll leave him on here for now, but that does open up some more points for us to just start to spread around and get more guys scheduled for future visits. But that is where we'll look to leave it here for today. We have a big matchup next week as it is a rivalry for us against San Jose State, the little brother essentially coming to town. But we also have a lot of recruits coming in as well. We win this game in dominant fashion as we do have our offense showing up. We rack up some yards, rack up some points, and we should start to see our first few commits coming on in. So make sure you stick around, hit that bell icon on the bottom right, or scroll down, hit the sub button, and tap that bell icon so you're notified of when these videos go live. This series every single Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We got the Jags Tuesday and Thursday. This was a big week on the channel, a lot of big games, and hopefully, as I did the recording for this series before the Jacksonville one, we have some more big games to come. But we'll see you next time back in Palo Alto as the San Jose State Spartans come to town.